Uh, what's up, everybody? Weekly Q&A. My oldest just fell asleep. Wanted to throw a quick offer out there for you guys, and this is for those of you guys who picked up a couple of clients, usually in the $300 to $500 range. I see this a lot, where a lot of times people come to me and they think they're ready to scale because you got between 5 and 10 clients paying you, and what ends up happening is the margins aren't really good enough to pay a virtual assistant. And so what ends up happening is sooner than later, you run out of time. And so you end up with this structure where you're working all the time, but you want to make more money and you want to get more clients. It doesn't go anywhere. And the simplest solution is to repackage what you're doing so you can add a zero when it's $3,000 a month. Suddenly you have room to pay virtual assistants and things like that. And one of the things we're really good at is making offers that allow you to get those higher price range even during all this pandemic craziness, so that you can actually scale and do it in a way, well, we haven't really talked about, but doing it in a way so that you actually have a life as you do it, so you're not like staring into an ad manager or building backlinks all day long. So if that's appealing to you, shoot me a PM. Anyways, let's get into the questions. Ozer, is it possible to rank a website without link building? Yes. Not for competitive keywords, though. No, you're not going to but if you find some long tail keyword that nobody else is really going after, a big part actually winning in SEO, to be honest, is not winning the big money keywords. It's actually finding those hidden opportunities, the long tail keywords that nobody else has really thought of. And so I would say, one of the things, and it's been a while since I've done SEO, but this part will never change, is so much of it is actually in your research, is finding, like I said, winnable battles. I'd rather go after 10 long tail keywords that I know are buyer intent keywords. And to give you an example of this, my first ever website was a real estate investment course, and I got to number 2 on, I bounced between number 1 and number 2, but spent more time at number 2 for the keyword real estate investing. And it's one of those, a gazillion people search it. So we would get 60 to 100,000 visitors a month from that keyword. And I'd say, 3,000 visitors a day, like clockwork. And I've made very, very few sales off of that. I had another keyword called short sale course. Short sale is like a type of real estate investment. And it's a buyer intent keyword because somebody's looking for a course. We would get 100 visitors a month on that keyword and make 15 sales. And it showed me really, really quickly that I'd rather go after the right kind of keywords. So that's what my advice to you is, do the due diligence and the research, there. Matthew, fulfillment and management question. Do you outsource some or all of your client fulfillment work, and do you use VAs? I'm trying somewhat to automate client fulfillment and account management with VAs. Who's doing it? Matthew, I'll tell you, this is a discussion we had in our private group here. There's a huge difference between custom and customization. And it sounds like what you're doing is custom, which means you might be doing one thing for one client, another thing over here, and you got a dentist you're doing this for, and you're doing AdWords for a plumber, and building a website for an electrician or whatever. And what ends up happening is that's when it's really, really hard to make your VAs really competent. It's much, much better to build a duplicatable system that you can customize 10 to 15% of it. And then what you'll find is your fulfillment gets way, way easier. A big reason why fulfillment is hard, and I suspect in your case that's true, is because you're just doing a little bit of everything. And when you do a little bit of everything, it's hard to train your VAs because there's so many moving pieces in your head. As where when you do customization, the landing page might be the same, the ads are the same, the pictures are the same. That's way, way easier to train VAs. As far as your other question about outsourcing some or all of it, whether you're white labeling, it's hard to find good white labelers. But when you do find them, it can make your life really, really easier. If you're interested, I do have a few that other people have recommended. I've never used any of them personally, so I can't tell you. I keep everything in-house and build our own systems. But other people seem to be happy with them. So if you're interested in a few of those names, just shoot me a PM and I will give you a list of companies. I know some good ads people as well as SEO people. Surav, how to make your first affiliate commission. Surav, this is an interesting thing. I don't do a ton of affiliate stuff, but I've definitely made some money from the affiliate world. And I'll tell you, it's really, really interesting. One of the first eye-opener things for me was I had read a course, and it was actually so mind-bogglingly simple, the methodology. So I went to ClickBank and I searched for people who had products related to tinnitus. Tinnitus is like a ringing in the ears people got, and I noticed it was converting well, and that was part of what attracted me to it. And that's a big part of when you're an affiliate, is you want to find products that you know are going to convert. In this case, it was. And then I simply went on Twitter. I created an account, and I searched for people who had just said, hey, my tinnitus is bothering me, things like that. So I searched for tinnitus. And people were saying that, like, oh, I got the tinnitus in my ear again. And I just sent them a link. I said, hey, this may help you. And sent them a link to the product. And I made a couple of affiliate sales. I didn't, cash in a gazillion dollars. But it showed me it was possible to go from no affiliate sales to having affiliate sales within an hour or two. And that was kind of mind-blowing to me. So a big part of it is make sure you're choosing the right products. And then once you've confirmed you're building the right product, it's no different than any other kind of business. Build a real system around it. Generate a list. Follow up with those lists. Find more ways to help them. But that's really it. It's not more complicated than that. The biggest thing is in the beginning, you're going to need to test multiple affiliate offers just to see that the traffic actually converts. Facebook has been more aggressive on shutting down ad accounts recently. Is it lenient now? In my experience, no. I'm actually dealing with some of the same shit right now. Facebook just fucking crazy, but we don't have all our eggs in the Facebook basket, so it's not as miserable as it is for other people. But that's my advice to any of you, is appeal it to get your account back. Diversify your traffic sources when you do get it back. YouTube's probably the easiest replacement you can go after right now. And start turning that into traffic that's your own list, your own audience that you control, because that's the best traffic you're ever going to get, is traffic that you have 100% control over. But no, doesn't seem like they're getting more lenient. Chad, any good tips on hiring salespeople? What do you typically pay sales reps? I know some people do commission only, but what percentage would you do? Depends if you're paying them like one time, meaning they get a chunk of the first sale. The number tends to be higher, or if you're paying them ongoing. So I would say like pretty typical is like 20-25%, at least in my world, that's what I do for the first sale, if they're just getting paid on the initial sale. If you want them to be a piece of the recurring, it's usually like 10%. Counter to most people, I believe in paying salespeople well. I think it's an important job. So like, I'm not looking for the cheapest salesperson. Now I'll tell you the biggest thing that'll make the difference is you won't know how your salespeople do until you put them in. And even good salespeople are not equally good in every niche. Like I've had people that could sell in one niche, and I would bring them to my niche, and they just, for whatever reason, they didn't know how to close those types of people. So the best thing you can do is just take them on a first date, give them between 5 and 10 calls, and get some recordings and see if you want to continue with them. Don't expect them to walk out of the gate making perfect sales. By the way, salespeople will have ups and downs. You're going to have to coach your salespeople and kind of, help them along. But the best way you'll learn is just to give them a small sample and trial and see how it goes. Michael, what do you use to onboard new clients? I send a Google Doc right now, but I don't find it very practical. So Michael, this is a thing that I've experimented with a lot of like automation and software, and I know that's what everybody suggests doing, but I believe in not making clients feel like name and number and actually personalizing it. So a big part of how we onboard them is actually creating a wow welcome. So to be like fully transparent, one of the things I do with my clients, especially my like brick and mortar clients, is we order them an edible arrangements right after that, just says like gives them the big welcome, and it's a standardized message and a standardized package, although it's personalized to them, so they feel like it's just got sent to them. So when they sign up, and usually edible arrangements can show up within 3 hours, it's unbelievable how fast they are. But that is engineered to create that onboarding experience of not just like, hey, we got all your necessary information, but to actually do it in a way that helps them. And then I prefer to do it with email and then actual back and forth communication, because the more you do that, even though you can automate it, and I'm not saying you shouldn't automate it, but what ends up happening is it makes clients feel like a name and number, and where it shows up is 3-6 months later when they don't stay, because they just see you as a name and a number. And the more you can actually build a personal relationship and help them, not just with their ads, but show them you care about them as people, they'll stay longer, and that's way more practical. So what I would suggest is, there's a really good book, Never Lose a Customer Again. I would suggest reading it and figuring out how you can standardize like a really cool welcome experience, but don't get into just making them go through their own checklist and videos and things like that. You want it to have a human touch. The book compares it to, by the way, Never Lose a Customer Again, compares it to, like, imagine you go to get married to somebody, and then at the last minute they're like, okay, this is Dave. Dave's going to handle your account now. Nice to see you. Have a good day. But that's how we actually treat our customers, right? They meet with a salesperson. They build a relationship with that salesperson. The salesperson passes them off. Then it's sent to an automated thing. Then they just feel like they're being sold into some name and number kind of system. And that's not generally good for retention. So I'm not saying don't have some automation tools in there. Like, we do use videos and stuff to explain to clients how to do certain things. But in general, like, figure out how to make a cool experience and then standardize that. That's way cooler than using software in Google Docs. Hector, anyone here run campaigns for surgeons? What do you guys find the best way to get more leads, landing page or Facebook form? And do you guys think create an offer is better than not? Because when I create an offer, a lot of crappy people leave their info and don't convert. Plastic surgery is expensive, not for everyone, like white dental treatment. Yeah, Hector, this is actually a niche I know a lot about. The first, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years of my agency were all dedicated to plastic surgery. I'd probably say 7 years, and built some really, really awesome converting offers. Having said that, if you create an offer and it's bringing the wrong people, the problem is the offer, not that offers don't work. It'd be like, I'll give you an example, right? Just one word can change it, right? So I'll give you an example, like, I see people who have affordable SEO services. And that one word right there, affordable, is going to attract cheapskates. That's very different than if you have premium SEO services for plastic surgeons. It's going to attract a totally different type of person. So that one word can make a great deal of difference. So chances are, like, what it means is the bait you're using to fish with, if we're using a fishing analogy, is you're using little stuff that's catching minnows. So if there's a disconnect, it's either like targeting or your offer, and possibly both. But the simplest way is to really just, and I'll tell you what worked best for us is, I learned this, it took me a while to get in this, but not all procedures are created or equal in the plastic surgery space. So like, for example, if a plastic surgeon does a breast augmentation, they might make $4,000 or $5,000, but it also costs them $4,000 or $5,000 because they have to rent an operating room in the hospital, and then they have the cost of the breast implants themselves, which are like $1,000. They don't really make any money doing breast implants, even though it's the most popular procedure. Now, a mommy makeover often costs between like $25,000 and $40,000, and mommy makeovers are one of those procedures where they still have the same overhead costs as the breast augmentation, so they make a whole bunch more money. So the simplest thing is I would create a little lead magnet for mommy makeovers, and then go through and have some like dedicated follow-up that covers into the, because if you're trying to convert straight from Facebook, you're not going to go from like I just met you to $25,000 sale very often. So it's going to be done in the follow-up. And so you just want to answer the questions. How can they finance it? What can they expect? What does the results look like? Has anybody else gone through it? Here's some before and after. But you want to turn their questions into content. And we have follow-ups for some of our campaigns like that go as long as a year. So chances are, if you're expecting Facebook traffic to convert to like $25,000, $40,000 sale, it's too big of a jump. So you need a more comprehensive system to do that. Or switch to Google ads where they're looking for you, and then you might be able to get away with it. Although it'll still work better in Google ads with what I described. You're on. I'm searching for some ideas for audience groups. I'm advertising on LinkedIn, and I'm aiming at people who monetize their website. Any ideas? Yeah, you're on. The problem is what you're looking to do is so unspecific that's the reason why you can't target them. Because if you were like trying to target people who were affiliate monetizing or AdSense monetizing or monetizing by actually selling something on their website, there would be lots of different ways to target those. Like I would just target affiliate groups in the case mentioned. Or if I'm people monetizing it, say with e-commerce, I could join e-commerce groups. Part of the reason why you can't really find like ways to target based on that question is you're just trying to like target everybody at once, and you'll end up saying nothing meaningful to anybody. So narrow that down. If you want to talk to like 20 different groups, that's fine, but you're going to need to have 20 different messages. If you try and do them all at once, it's just not going to work out. So that's my 2 cents for you. By the way, for you, those of you guys who aren't already following us on YouTube. We got the world's smallest YouTube channel, but I think it's super high quality and awesome. Going to be adding a little case study. We actually just posted this in the members area, but I did an example where I ran an ad to cold traffic on a site selling a car, and I actually had 300 or so people, like over 200 people replied by email, another 50 to 100 texted me, another 20 or so added me on WhatsApp, all to buy one car and take like what at the time was a major problem off my end. And that's the power of this offer making skill, is you can get like, you know, not just in your agency, but in your real life, you can get people to be lining up to give you money for certain things more than you could ever possibly service. So it's a really, really powerful skill. So I'm going to be posting that case study on the YouTube channel. So if you're not following that, do that already. And again, if you're interested in the other offer about, you know, you got a couple of clients in the $500 a month range and you want to scale it, there's a whole different way to do that, which is getting more value for your clients and getting more money for yourself in the process. So hope this is cool. I'll post the replay. Much love to you guys. And I will see you again soon. May the force be with you.